Welcome to Champagne Chats, discussions from the green room where we talk all things about the events industry. I'm Kate Woolley, also known as DJ Wildflower, and it's fantastic to be joining you today. Next up is a very special guest and one of West Australia's most sought-after vocalists in the vibrant music scene, and I'm absolutely excited to have her here today. Let's get started. Joining me now is someone really special to me. This soulful songstress, hailing from Perth, is a Whopper alum and was absolutely born to be a performer. With over a decade's experience, she has seamlessly blended genres ranging from jazz, soul to contemporary bands and musical theatre. She has shown her vocal prowess and ability to command the stage with grace and poise for thousands of people and commanding stage presence, including fronting Perth Symphony Orchestra, Perth's leading corporate covers band Proof, and a role in Boy from Oz. You just actually won't believe this voice until you hear it. It's really amazing. Please welcome my glam sister and my beautiful friend, Sophie Foster.
Oh my goodness. That was just, I feel $1 million.
You should.
Honestly, that was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a real mouthful and I wanted to trim it down, but I was like, girl, I want people to know. I'm actually going to go back and read some more of it because I feel like I've known you for a long time and
Yes.
I didn't really know your bio. No offense, I hadn't read it.
No, well, why not, Kate? Why not?
It's like sitting there like, so, you do your due diligence and you kind of go back and read it. So in her early years, Sophie immersed herself in the live music scene, sharing the spotlight with acclaimed Australian international musicians, collaborations with the likes of Chris Isaak, Guy Sebastian, Katie Steele, and backing vocalists for legends like Michael Jackson and Mariah Carey. Are you?
No, it was her. It was Michael Jackson and Mariah Carey's backing vocalist. Yes.
I'll go back
Melanie Daniels Walker. She was their backing vocalist.
She was their backing vocalist.
Yeah, and she came to West Australia to Whopper and we all sang with her and learnt from her. And
you learnt from this woman?
Yeah.
Because I was reading that and I was like, I know this is a backing vocalist, but I'm like, who is this person that you learnt from?
Yeah, she's incredible.
That isn't crazy.
Yeah, she's amazing and such a lovely human being as well.
If you've ever gone to a band and seen, any performance, it's the backing vocalist so often that just hold the room.
Yeah.
Right? So
underrated, especially someone like Beyonce.
Yes.
When she's doing her, almighty Beyonce thing of dancing and, what she does best. And then she's got her backing vocals just holding it down.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
It's incredible. Yeah. Off camera, we were just having a whole conversation about your time in New York and you'd actually been to some of the gospel soul black churches.
Yep.
And you were telling me about those singers.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically said that all of these singers could be Beyonce. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
Well, funnily enough, that actually was her church.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So she came to Whopper and I was talking to her and I said, look, I'm going to be in New York, tell me all of the things to do, all of the things to go see. I just wanted to immerse myself in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, go down to Queens and go to this church and you'll just love it. And I did. And it was just incredible. Just stepping into a completely different world of everyone is just oozing talent, and they are just worshipping in their own way.
Yeah.
And it is quite mind-blowing, to be honest. And I just got lost.
Yeah. Did Melanie give you sort of like an introduction or did she just say just go in?
She just said just go.
Isn't that beautiful that you were just like welcomed in and just like got to experience this?
She was so welcoming and she said everyone will make sure that you're sitting in the right spot and she was like it's just a really lovely big community and everyone's there just to, praise their God and, have a good time on a Sunday morning.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Not growing up with, with a specific faith and going to church, I've always still been quite curious about those sorts of churches, particularly seeing interviews with Whitney Houston and she talked about learning how to sing in the church.
Yeah.
And I've kind of always wanted to go and it's not because I don't feel comfortable, but I just don't want to necessarily encroach on someone else's faith.
Yes.
But I love the fact that it's, it doesn't really matter who you are, you can still actually go and participate.
Yeah. And that's where, rhythm and blues and soul all came from.
Absolutely.
And that is my genre and that's what I love singing. And I'm not necessarily, that's not necessarily my faith and that's not where I came from.
Yeah.
But that is what I love singing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of my own my own religion in itself.
Yes.
You know? Like I use that to get closer to, you know, the universe and, you know, myself and all that kind of stuff. So all of those soul artists like Aretha Franklin, Beyonce, Etta James, they all grew up in the church. And that's how they learned to sing.
Yeah. So you go back to the roots.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think what's for anyone who hasn't had the privilege of hearing your voice or understanding where you come from, you definitely have that soul gospel voice that just comes from somewhere else. Like you look at Sophie Foster and she's just so lovely and beautiful, and you hear that voice and you're like, whoa, mama, like where did this come from? Like did you
very white.
But how do you discover this? Like do you just was this like where does this come from? Like not being a singer, I'm just
Yeah, look, I have the least musical family.
Really?
Yes. My mum, she used to sing a little bit just in choir and, you know, whatnot. Dad, you know, grew up listening to Deep Purple and, you know, Jethro Tull and all that kind of stuff. So
with musical pedigrees?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You know, I was exposed to all the greats very young.
Yeah.
But I was never exposed to any soul music until I was about 12 or 13. Had the most wonderful teacher. Shout out to Annie Neal. She introduced me to Aletta Adams, Angie Stone, Aretha Franklin, you know, and obviously I was, you know, I knew Beyonce and, you know, Alicia Keys and all that kind of stuff, but all the old greats and it just, something just clicked. And then from then on, that's all I wanted to sing. And it just kind of, yeah, I think my voice kind of just took on characteristics of those singers and here I am today, trying my best to sound like Aretha Franklin.
Well, and Sophie Foster as well. You've got your own flair.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So between now and 12 years old, there was a few steps obviously in between there. So
quite a few. Yeah.
Did you go to like a performing arts school? Tell me a little bit about how you got from that initial understanding at 12 that there was a special connection with yourself and music and singing to getting to somewhere like WAPA, which is a prestigious music school.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I went to St Hilda's. They just allowed me to be who I wanted to be, and I actually got a singing scholarship in my last 2 years of school.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
I didn't even know this. This is great.
Yeah. Much to my mum was so happy. She was like, I don't have to pay for your singing lessons anymore, which was great for her. But, yeah, it just made it kind of solidified that I was doing the right thing.
So you'd have been, what, 16, 17?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
This is very early on. You're like, had you made a decision that this is what you wanted to do with your life? Or
I think so at that point, yeah. I was definitely immersed in the arts at school.
Yeah.
I was overall arts captain. My subjects were music, drama, photography, and then I had to do English and maths.
English.
So I was just all about the arts and St Hilda's really allowed me to flourish in that. And I was a part of jazz camp and oh goodness, I can't remember what it was called, but it was a a cappella all-girl group, obviously. And I would just sing, and I used to play the flute, so I was just playing the flute all the time and singing, and don't play the flute anymore. Just disclaimer right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Annie was the one who pushed me to audition for WAPA.
Wow.
And then I actually originally auditioned for jazz, and I love singing jazz, but I'm not a jazz singer.
Yeah.
And WAPA had to tell me that. They said, you're not quite suited for our course, but would you be open to auditioning for the contemporary course? And then the head of contemporary actually emailed me and was like, come in for another audition. And I did, and yeah, the rest is history, really.
Sensational. Because I obviously am not a good friend and have not also asked Nicolette and Mia, and for anyone who's not sure who Nicolette and Mia are, we have created, I'm sort of jumping ahead, but I'm going to do that anyway.
No.
We've known each other for a while, but most recently a DJ vocal act, which is called Glam, and it's Mia Matheson, Nicolette Chu, yourself and myself. And it's sensational because, I mean, you girls are just three of the most remarkable singers I've ever met. And I'm not talking about Perth. I'm talking about ever. Like it's incredible. But what you all have in common is the fact that you've all trained at Whopper. So were you all contemporary Whopper, contemporary singers?
Yeah, we all met at Whopper. I think Nicola and Mia, fairly sure they were in the same year.
Yeah.
I graduated 2 years before them.
Right.
So we were still, you know, we'd see each other and we'd sing together all the time. And that's, obviously how we all met. And then glam was just a great excuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
to sing together and see each other all the time. And, since starting it, it's just been a dream.
It has been so much fun. And for me as well, because I've always had that, like, you know, everyone has that imposter syndrome about something. For mine, it's been like, I'm not a real musician because, you're just a DJ. And I appreciate my skill set is because it's my musical knowledge and track selection, ability to read a crowd.
Absolutely.
But I don't sing. And so when I sit there.
Girl, you play that tambourine.
You taught me. Yes, I'm in the percussion team now. But when I stand there and I'm watching you girls perform and how you communicate, like there's a whole other language that you have, which is a musical language that you have learned and developed. And it's quite remarkable for someone who is not classically trained or even trained at all to watch how someone's done that. We were talking recently about the fact that because you're just such a confident singer and like literally I watch you in front of thousands of people and you own the stage. And then you mentioned to me that you were nervous about speaking to me one-on-one.
Isn't it wild?
Like, what do you mean?
It's wild.
Like how does that happen that you can be Sophie Foster and then sitting here having a casual chat? Like what's
it's incredible, I know. And I've always been that way.
Really?
Ever since I could remember. I mean, to be honest, I have gotten a lot better. When I first started gigging, I was terrified of the silence in between songs.
Right.
So I would...
Because you're a mistress of banter. Like that is your...
I would just word vomit and wouldn't know what would come out.
Yeah.
And I think that's what scared me. So, I mean, obviously now I'm a bit better. I'm still very unapologetically myself.
You are.
But I think that's what scared me the most is I had faith in what I was singing.
Yeah.
But I didn't quite trust what would be in my head and then what would come out of my mouth.
Not that you sort of have like a brand of being like a diva, but like you could if you wanted to.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, I do. I love camping and hiking and, not showering for 3 days is great.
Yeah.
But I also love glamming up and putting on my sequins and, a full beat, the lashes, the whole shebang, which is... I think I just get the best of both worlds.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So it's the balance in between and you get to...
Totally. And I work at night and then I can go hiking and spend time with my dogs and garden and,
It's so wholesome.
I know. It is literally chalk and cheese. Yeah.
It's like Gardening Australia, Antiques Roadshow, Superstar, RAC Arena, like thousands of people. I guess that's a nice balance when you are sort of sharing all their energy that you have time to kind of recenter.
And I think that's why I do it. It's because it is definitely takes a lot out of you being on stage. Like it really does. And it's that adrenaline pumping through your body and, you're constantly on.
Yes.
And you need time to unwind.
To decompress.
Absolutely.
That moment in the car where you sat, not driving away, not doing anything, just having a quiet moment.
No music on.
No music.
Silence. Just listening to the humming of your engine. It's beautiful. It's really nice.
Yeah. For anyone that's not in that event space, like you're probably thinking, just come back and you're all pumped up, but a lot of the times, like you just need that little quiet time, that little moment to yourself.
And it does take a while to just...
The adrenaline to sort of wear down and like you can't just go straight to bed.
No, you have to. It takes me a good hour or so to just come down and then I can have a cup of tea and then go to bed.
I'd love to know a little bit about, so in the time that I've met you, which is the last few years, you were originally the front singer of Proof, which is a fantastic band based in Perth, the top covers band really
absolutely.
in WA. So it's not just Perth, like there's a lot of travel and there's a lot of commitment. So when you're with Proof, you were obviously committed to Proof Entertainment and their schedule as well. So how long did you do that and what did that working in that format look like for you?
Yeah, I was with Proof for about 7 years, I want to say.
Yeah.
So I graduated from Whopper in 2015 And then I was in this really, grey space of not really knowing what to do. I didn't really know how to sell myself and get my gigs. I didn't know, what my brand was and all that kind of stuff. I was kind of just floating. I was teaching a little bit here and there. Yeah, I think, Blake approached me. I think that's how it went. He was like, look, we're holding auditions. Do you want to come and audition for Proof? And I don't remember actually auditioning. I think I filled in for Stella Donnelly, who crazily enough was the front singer of Proof way back when, and now is just this international superstar. Then I think they were like, yeah, cool. You don't need to audition. You can just be in the band.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to adjust because it was full on. Blake is just a powerhouse.
He's phenomenal.
Blake Williams.
Yeah, shout out Blake Williams.
Incredible man.
Yeah, and so hardworking for everyone around him, right? So it's not just
absolutely
his vision. Like I've watched on the sidelines watching him make sure everyone is.
We would get an email on Monday morning saying these are the gigs, these are the songs you need to learn, this is sound check, this is blah 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 blah, and we would just rock up and do the gig and then go home, and everything else it was just like a very well oiled machine, and that was back then. That was, 9 years ago now.
Wow, yeah.
And it's just getting better and better and better.
It is.
But it was, for me, it was an amazing opportunity to discover what I really wanted to do, but also taught me so much about the industry and about how to carry myself on stage and, simple things like talking in between songs. And
it's not a simple thing.
Yeah.
Honestly,
it's an art.
With glam, that was one of the biggest things that I felt. So you girls had such a natural rapport, and I was like, can you script me something? Because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And now we're all like, blah, blah, blah. It just comes out naturally.
Yeah.
But that it's for something that is effortless. Everything takes practice. It doesn't come from. You have to practice for something to feel natural. And
you have to find. When you're performing with other people, you have to find the same energy.
Yeah.
You have to kind of bounce off each other. And it takes a while to find that kind of groove and make it as seamless as possible.
Yeah.
And I think, definitely with the glam girls, we've just got that down pat. That is just, very, very good now. And it did take me a while with Proof to get that. And luckily Blake, he's just he's so good at that.
Yeah.
And always has been just a natural talker.
Yep.
Such an honour to be in that band for, 6-7 years. Yep. I'd loved every minute, and those guys will be lifelong friends.
Which is, kind of brings me to my next point, is because everything is an evolution, and it's not that you become too good or that you're not interested. Sometimes there's a time and place. So after 7 years working with this incredible band, you obviously got to the point where you're wanting to branch out and do your own things. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your original music that you're doing and what's the direction with what you want as a solo artist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've been collaborating with an amazing composer and drummer, Michael Panagi. He has been so wonderful, and he's really pushed me creatively to get more of our ideas out there and, all that kind of stuff. And we've currently just finished our next song that we've written together.
Yeah.
And we've filmed a video, and it's
unreal.
Shout out to Mark Turner who filmed it for us. And Brodie Stewart who mixed and mastered it.
Brodie.
Yeah.
Mark.
And
Blake. I mean, these wonderful men that we get to work with.
Yeah. They are incredible.
And Michael, obviously your performing partner.
Yes. Yeah, so he approached me a few years ago, and ever since then we've just been writing together, and it's just been a really lovely space for me to get my ideas across because he's such a musical guy, and sometimes you just need someone to bounce off.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think it's, really exciting to think about the future with our collaboration.
Yeah.
Because I think we are both definitely on the same page with we just want to write and create and, finish songs and get them out into the world. And that's all I've ever wanted to do, really. I've got so much to share.
Yeah.
And not necessarily not knowing how to, but just also having the faith in myself to do that.
Yeah.
So I think definitely the last few months have been just me finding that and just being like, you can do this.
Yeah.
And even if you don't become, the next pop star, I'm doing it for myself. And I just want to get all of these feelings that I'm feeling out.
Getting it all across there.
Yeah.
I feel like that is a more genuine way to create music.
Yeah.
Because if you go out there going, I want to be a pop star, I want to like blow up on TikTok, like people can see this stuff now.
Yeah.
Right? Like maybe back in the day they understood about like, things that were formulated and created. And now people want the authentic, people want genuine. It's your words, your story, your music. It's kind of becoming more and more rare, I feel, from listening to like a lot of commercial music through, stuff I have to play. And I'm happy to because it's part of, creating a great event that is appropriate to different audiences. So many songs at the moment are just covers and like not even like little covers, like just a hard cover with a different tempo and key change. And it's like the original stuff, like it's just, they're like little unicorn flakes. Like,
there's no heart. There's no soul in it.
That is exactly what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And I love a good cover.
Absolutely.
And like disco is my jam. And I will but there is something to be said about like really finding and connecting with an artist that, ultimately is that original music. And it takes time. Like
it does.
You got to take time like investing and committing to yourself to do that. So
absolutely. And not everyone you write with you'll necessarily click with.
Yeah.
You have to go through kind of like a trial and error process.
For sure.
Before you find – it's like performing with people.
Yeah.
And
you know when it works and you know when it doesn't.
Exactly.
And so obviously you've clicked with –
yeah, clicked with Mike and he's just, wonderful. We've written and almost releasing our next single, which is really exciting. So that's kind of the next venture. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. And then hopefully, just writing more in the future.
Yep.
And just kind of dedicating just more of my time to that creative kind of space in my life. Yeah.
Do you have intention to tour this music as well, get it out and on the road?
Yeah, definitely. We've been looking at some jazz festivals over East, festivals in Singapore as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Singapore was so much fun. I loved it there.
Yes, such
I'd love an excuse to come and see you at a jazz festival.
So, hopefully next year we're thinking of,
This is exciting. Heard it here first, peeps.
Yeah.
But it is like, I think people that know you, I'm sure you have the pressure of like, your voice precedes you, right? You really have this incredible voice, and I'm sure there's been this pressure of like, you should be going out there and you're doing this, but you still have to actually go out there and perform and it be the right time.
Yes. Yeah, so, exactly right. And I think that has been something that I've struggled with for so long, is that kind of perfectionist in me.
Yeah.
And having that kind of, that reputation of being
Sophie Foster.
Sophie, is sometimes quite daunting. Yeah.
Yeah, because like the process, I'm sure you may not know where it's going to go. But you just have to start.
But it is such an incredible process. Like when you think back to that tiny idea that you had, and then you spend a few months working on it, and then it just becomes this, living, breathing thing that you're just kind of dedicating your time to.
Yeah. And
it's just wild to think about that, the journey of just one song.
Yeah.
And this song that we are releasing is very close to my heart. And it's probably the first thing that I've ever written and released that is personal.
Wow.
And I've written it for my brother, and I played him the demo. He lives in Bridgetown, and he just, it was very emotional.
Wow.
And so I'm really excited for him to hear it and see it in its, in all its glory.
This is so exciting.
So I'm kind of just like, come on.
What a special thing to be able to do for your brother.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's going to be very special being there, and
it will be, yeah. So, and that's just what I want to do. I just want to do more of that. I just want to make people feel something, just anything with my music.
Yeah. I can feel that with you. Like, you're so passionate, and it's like that resonates, and either it's there or it's not. So I feel like you can't fake that. And if you do, like, people will clock it. So it's very genuine. I'd love to know, with this journey and it's all evolving and unfolding as we speak. But do you have a specific idea about where you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years, or are you just open to what the universe is presenting to you?
Yeah, I am a very firm believer in you close one door, another door opens.
Yeah.
And that is kind of what the next 5 years is looking like for me. I just want to immerse myself in the creative world, which is really scary because you don't necessarily have any kind of stability.
Well,
which we all know.
Yeah.
As creatives and being in the event industry. But that is just what I'm really looking forward to, is just kind of putting everything on the line and just really giving it my all and just seeing what happens. And as I said, like I all I want to do is just create and, you know, if something grand happens out of that, then amazing.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then I'm happy with my life right now where I am. So
having learnt from a lot of really amazing people, you had, you know, an incredible teacher when you were 12. You got put forward to submit for WAPA, which you then obviously got into and really excelled. Years later, you are now, I believe, teaching there.
Yes.
So what does that feel like to be working with like the new, like, you know what that feels like to come in and starting from scratch. How does that feel like?
It was, I mean, working at WAPA is kind of like that's where you want to be. Absolutely. In terms of lecturing and teaching. That's kind of, you know, the highest place that you can be in West Australia. I was only 2 years out of WAPA. Just got back from America and Matt Allen called me and he said, "Do you want to come and teach?" And I was like, "Sure."
Wow.
Why not? I've been there for 7 years now, I think, because I started while I was still in proof, and God knows how I juggled everything. I was younger.
you really are the sort of person that does like, we'll get it done.
That was a lot. I was doing like 7 gigs a week and then teaching 20, 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
God knows how I did it.
And then you studied at some point, I remember.
Yeah.
You're like,
I did.
I've just deleted that in the back of the
that.
Just put that in a box.
That's in like a little, locked away.
Little trauma box. Just tuck that away.
But no, working at WAPA has been, it's a dream.
Yeah.
It really is. And I've definitely have Matt to thank for that, because he not only taught me at WAPA, but he also taught me how to teach by being such a wonderful teacher himself. Being able to impart that onto to young students is just incredible. And also, you know, like seeing the up and coming talent is just like scarily incredible. Everyone is so amazing, and it's just this natural talent oozes out of all of them, and the willingness to learn. And it's a really incredible environment to be.
It would be. It's not like a normal university where you just can kind of drag, like you have to deliver, you have certain benchmarks.
Yeah.
So it must be really rewarding when you're helping these people like really just achieve their best.
Absolutely, yeah.
So for them, like you would be an incredible teacher because I know how amazing you are, and you've learnt from people like Matt Allen and people like Blake Williams. Are there people that you sort of actively seek out to be your mentor, or are you just sort of seeing who's out there to help for you to continue to grow and develop?
Yeah, I think I'm continuously crossing paths with people that I'm learning from. Yeah. And
taking little bits here, little bits here.
Exactly. And I do really try and, you know, whenever I meet someone who, like Evan McKenna, who is the artistic director of WASO, he's so nice to talk to, so lovely to talk to, and just is so good at what he does, you know. So like whenever I do gigs, I just love talking to people about, you know, how you got to where you are and, you know, what's the plan for the future and all that kind of stuff. And everyone I talk to has always got something that sticks with me. And, you know, and people like Blake and Matt have definitely shaped me into the artist that I am today, and performer and vocalist. So, I'm continuously crossing paths with amazing people. If, you know, I was talking to myself 10 years ago, I would never have thought that I would be like doing this, you know, like making this, making it. Yeah. You know, like it's it's quite incredible to think about how much I have learnt. Well, you know, being also self-taught in terms of like the business side of things, but like, you know, learning from other people and going, wow, from a girl who was 12, you know, singing in a jazz band at school to like singing with a 100-piece orchestra at the Perth Concert Hall.
Yeah.
You know, it's just mind-blowing.
It's an incredible achievement.
And all of those people along the way have just been, you know, lifting me up and because life's too short to be.
Life is too short to
be mean.
To be mean and also to do something you don't want to do.
Exactly.
I think that's a really important lesson for anyone who is sort of thinking about getting started in an industry or staying in an industry that they don't enjoy. I'd like, don't waste your time.
No.
Like, rather fail at something I want to do.
Exactly. And you got to take risks. And that is the scary thing.
Even now, it's still scary
in our industry. Yeah. Absolutely.
But,
you know, but you just have to. Yeah. You have to give it your all.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you leave that door slightly cracked open.
Yeah.
And there's going to, you know, you're never actually going to allow the door to fully open.
From what I know of you and how I've got to get to know you better through working with Glam is that there's room for lots of different types of these experiences. So you can be teaching, you can do, you know, the Glam DJ band, you can be in duos, trios, because you have Sophie Foster duo, trio. Basically, people can, you know, give them a pitch, you can perform with anyone, like you can design your entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what I love about it is just the versatility.
Yeah.
You know, and I have really worked hard in order to be as versatile as I possibly can.
Yeah.
If you said to me, you know, 10 years ago that I would have been in a musical, absolutely not. I'm not.
So that wasn't something you were aiming for. I sort of thought that that's something that all singers want to do because that to me, I guess it's the performance side. So that was not necessarily.
It was actually quite scary because I'm not a dancer. Yeah, doing The Boy From Oz in 2021 was just wild because I never had thought that I would do that. But as I said, like I want to be that vocalist that they're like, we need a backing vocalist or we need a musical theatre actor, not an actor, but I could be.
You could.
You know, I'm always willing to learn. You just haven't
put the effort into that.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, you could. I mean, I know you. If you wanted to do something, you could.
Yeah.
It's about prioritising where your energy goes, really.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I have Whopper to thank for that, for making me as versatile as a singer, as a vocalist, which has opened many doors in terms of different gigs. And I just I love dipping my toes in everything.
It keeps it fresh.
It does.
The thing is we get to have lots of fun events. We get to share these moments and that's what it's all about. It's not so serious.
But it's also just wanting to –
I just want, you know.
You're proud of it.
I'm proud of it. I love what we get to do and I love who I get to work with.
Yes.
This you know, podcast is a love letter to my friends and people in the industry that like I'm constantly in awe of and you know, I love Sophie Foster and I get to meet these people and it feels like I just want people to get a little behind the scenes of like these amazing, and you see the picture, you see the on stage, and yes, it's amazing, but like everything that's involved, like the years of practice to be that person on stage and perform is what it's at.
Yes.
So so hopefully that's what people are kind of getting out of it. But
no, it's great.
What would you suggest if you love your singing and you want to kind of get started? Like, do you have any tips about someone getting started in this industry?
Be patient and dedicated, and you need to be all in.
Yes.
I think you need to have faith in your ability, never stop working at it. You know, like you don't just graduate and then that's it. You're just, you know, the best singer in the world. You know, like you constantly, it's just like, it's like every human being, you have to work at it, at being the best version of yourself as you possibly can be. Exactly the same as a musician, as a singer. You just have to keep working at it and just be open to get out of your comfort zone because that's when you will grow and learn.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best advice that I have.
Well, I think that's fantastic advice, and I think that's a beautiful moment to wrap up our chat. I just want to thank you so much for joining me today.
my
I've been
goodness.
so excited to have you, and I was really nervous to have
Oh my
you
God,
here.
I was very
Like,
nervous.
it's weird interviewing your friends. Like,
It
I was like,
is.
I don't want to have like that weird interview voice, and like,
No,
because I know what
just-
we're like in real life.
Thank you so much for having me.
But you're just beautiful inside and out, and I've absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for a champagne chat.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's chat. Thank you so much for joining me, Sophie. It's been fantastic having a little chin wag with you today. If you've enjoyed the podcast, watching or listening, please make sure you subscribe on any of the relevant platforms. And remember, may the only pain in your life be champagne. Cheers.